This is Josh and James of the MMA Complex podcast, live at Combate Estrellas 1 on the Univision. Right. Awesome backdrop. James, how you doing, man?
Good, man. It was, it's been a while since you came to Combate, and you know what? Some of these fights delivered in devastating fashion.
It's the fights are still going on right now. I think the televised portion is over. If it's loud right now, the crowd's going wild. There's still a lot of good fights going on. There's still a lot of good people, amount of people here.
Yeah, right.
What'd you make of the event and the first time here on their brand new setup, brand new at the Shrine here? What'd you make of it? It's awesome, right?
Yeah, no, it was a good show. I mean, the venue was amazing, I think, and I think this is the first event under the Univision brand or contract. Yeah, it's good night of fights, man. I think we both agreed the Froggy fight was probably the fight of the night. I mean, what a fight that was! Back and forth war, and in the end, Froggy made it happen, and hopefully we'll see that guy in the UFC one day.
Yeah. Froggy Estrada, if you guys don't know him, make sure you look him up. He's a dynamic fighter, just pound for pound, just one of the best here in Combate that they have on the roster, and definitely one of the guys that they highlight, and they as well as they should. He's such a great fighter. The fight that he had was so back and forth, and it tested him, but he remained calm under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this guy shows his experience in the cage. I think he fights in a very dangerous way, but very confident in his skills. And like he brings a crowd like no other, man. I think his people are like pro wrestling fans with the whole Froggy chat, and it's pretty badass to see in person.
And in the main event, you had John Castaneda, who, was featured as the main event, the highlight of the main event. Unfortunately, his opponent dropped out early in the week, and his weight replacement, and unfortunately, he did not come out with the win. What'd you make of that fight? It was kind of a lackluster main event.
Yeah, I was really surprised because usually John comes out pretty aggressive. It seemed like something was wrong. Like he didn't feel like himself in that cage here tonight. But hey, props to Jose, man. He showed up against a veteran and John, and took the fight to him.
Yeah. And on this show, on this post fight show, I guess we would call it. Yeah. We have the one and only UFC featherweight Brian Ortega on the show. He actually here still in attendance, enjoying the fights and doing just such a great guy, man. So you're gonna enjoy his interview. We're gonna cut to that in a little bit, but stay tuned for that. Also on the fight, you had Amanda Serrano, who was also featured on the card. One of their new signees, comes from the striking world, boxing world. But she did decent for her debut, her pro debut. What did you make of her pro debut?
Yeah, she felt like she's been in there. She felt like she's been there for a very long time. I mean, for a girl that came into this card, oh no, and for her to do what she did to a somewhat experienced female in Karina, I think she did great. She fought well under pressure, and this is a big card for Combate, and the fact that she came out looking the way she did, I was impressed by her.
Yeah. Now she still goes 0-0, but 0-1 because the fight did go to a draw. How did you score the fight?
I had Serena actually winning the fight. I mean, I was surprised that she had lost, but they probably gave us her a 10-7 in the last round.
You gave Amanda Serrano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, before that, I think she was up 2-0, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The way I had it was she was up 2-0. The first round, I could see how they could go back and forth, but the third, she got thoroughly dominated on the ground and showed her inexperience, and she was in a high mount, like underneath, for quite a while. Were you surprised that they didn't stop it?
No, I'm not surprised because Mike is a veteran referee, and those shots that she was taking were pity pop shots. They were nothing too hard.
Yeah. But overall, great night of fights. Just a fantastic event. I think Combate Estrellas won. Obviously, is hands down one of the Combate's best events, and I think they've done a great job. Just from all the festivities. Savage knockout right now. Wow. Sorry,
Yeah, there's a
distraction.
dark. Yeah,
but the fights are going on. They're right behind this camera.
There's a dark match.
And we can't show you.
And the crowd is going berserk.
Wow, amazing.
It's like
amazing.
It's a pro wrestling crowd tonight for sure.
So overall, fantastic event. And we do have Brian Ortega to watch out, come out for the fans here. But overall, man, I enjoyed it. What do you make of their entire event? It's great, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy atmosphere. It's almost like a fight club atmosphere, I would say.
Yeah.
Great fight.
Yeah.
Great fights.
So this weekend, a lot of events. Bellator had their card today. Yeah. Michael Chandler, I think coming out the victor. And then tomorrow we have UFC with Dustin Poirier and Gaethje tomorrow.
That's gonna be a great fight.
Fantastic card.
I mean this weekend's card is a better card than last week, unfortunately.
I'm gonna pull up the card right now, but go on about Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje and Poirier. That's a fight. That's a hardcore fighters fans fight. You know, you got Justin Gaethje who's coming off a tough fight versus one Poirier who's now coming up in weight, and I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen. You know, both guys, you know, standing there and bang, and I see a knockout. In this fight for sure.
So just to confirm, Michael Chandler did come out the victor over Grits. So Michael Chandler win in the main event tonight at Bellator. On the card for tomorrow's Arizona Glendale show for the UFC, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier in the main event. Who do you have that winning that main event? Because that's obviously a very competitive main event. You have Justin Gaethje going forward, tough to beat up, tough to stop. Eddie Alvarez accomplished it, the only man to do so. But Dustin Poirier, no joke.
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about this fight a lot, and I have to go Gaethje, man, just because, you know, Poirier has he fights very dangerous, and I don't think he can take Justin's punches. And I can see Justin winning via TKO.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll probably go with Dustin Poirier in this one. I think his accurate striking, his experience, I think will take him over.
Yeah.
Carlos Condit versus Alex Oliveira. Previously supposed to be Matt Brown.
That's a great fight, man. I don't know. I'm no Condit, man.
Condit?
I like Condit in this fight, yeah.
I like Condit in this fight. Now, he did lose against Magny, but that was after a long layoff. Obviously, this time around, maybe he'll get back in the swing of things. He's obviously a fan favorite, so we'll see how that one goes. I'll probably side with Condit more just as a fan. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great fight. I mean, this is a good fight because, you know, seeing where Condit's at in his career, I think it's a great fight for him, for both guys.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya and Michelle Watterson. Oh, no. Marvin Vettori, I'm sorry. Also on the card. Adesanya looked impressive his last outing. A newcomer to the UFC from kickboxing, the world of kickboxing. Fantastic striker. People are comparing him to the next John Jones. What do you have in this one?
Adesanya, man, I'm on that hype train big time.
I think so too. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid for the Adesanya. I think he's by far, in that card he was on, had a lot of newcomers, but he by far impressed me the most. I think
his confidence, his trash talking, everything about him. He's a total package.
And coming from a striking background, he's got great takedown defense.
Yeah,
that's gonna pose some trouble. The fact that he can stay on his feet for a period of time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You have Courtney Casey and Michelle Watterson to start off the main card.
Watterson. Yeah.
Now, I like Watterson in this fight, but I might go with Courtney Casey. I think her toughness might edge out Watterson in the end and probably get the decision. We'll see how that one goes.
It's been a close fight for sure.
In the main event of the Fox prelims, you have Tim Boesch and Antonio Carlos Jr. Shoeface. Who do you have?
I like Tim Boesch in this fight, man. And I don't know. I know he hasn't been the same. He hasn't fought in quite a while, but I like Tim Boesch.
I like Tim Boesch in that one too. I'll probably go with Tim Boesch. I think he's tough. Obviously a veteran, but we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah.
Any other news that happened this week that you can recall? We didn't talk about WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey, would you?
Oh yeah, that was a great weekend. I mean, WrestleMania. I think this year's WrestleMania had a lot of hype behind it. Yeah. The card didn't deliver. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think Ronda Rousey stole the show for sure. She had a 27-minute match. The only problem I had with that match is that Seven McMahon, who isn't a martial artist, can defend Ronda's, signature move, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. But overall, I think that was a great match of the weekend, I think.
And also another UFC alumni, you have Brock Lesnar, who made an appearance at WrestleMania. You kind of have you follow the wrestling world closer than I do. What do you make of his appearance on WrestleMania and the fact that there is a possibility we might see him in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, that match got shitted on by the crowd.
Yeah.
And then the crowd knew that Brock would be leaving, and the crowd is pretty much sick and tired of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I mean, the people hate him. I thought it was a great match, but people didn't like it. People were throwing beach balls around during the match. People were saying CM Punk chants were going on. This is awful. Chants were going on. But in the end, the WWE kind of swerved the fans and had Brock go over. Yeah. A lot of people kind of assumed that Roman Reigns was going to win because people thought that Brock was going to exit the WWE and go to the UFC. Vince knew the story and kind of switched the roles around.
Yeah. Nice.
And the most interesting thing about it is that after the match, Brock threw the title at Vince, said, "Fuck this title." Vince obviously re-signed Brock for 2 more matches, and in his new contract, it says that he can fight at least twice more in the UFC.
So
it's pretty
has he signed? Has he signed?
He has not signed it.
He has not signed it. So in his new contract that Vince is proposing, he has
at least two fights.
At least 2 fights that he's allowing him to go to the UFC.
Right.
Which I think I think we talked about this before, but I don't see him doing more than 2 fights.
No, and I think the fact that there's rumors that Brock can face the winner between Cormier and Stipe is kind of crazy because Brock is not at that level. I think he should be fighting a top 10, maybe top 15 guy. See him fighting the winner of Stipe and DC is kind of ridiculous in my opinion.
That and if you're just talking about rankings, which I know rankings don't really matter that much anymore, he's definitely not in the same league as those two.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think there's plenty of other UFC heavyweights that he can go against that, will at least give him a warm-up so he can get the most out of him. And, and put him against anybody.
Right.
Yeah. But aside from that, man, I think it's been a good night of fights, good night of action. Next week, we have Fighter Rep on the 21st. It's over in Inglewood, California. Make sure you check them out, Fighter Rep on Instagram. Guerrilla Warfare. We're going to go check that out. It's great up-and-coming fight promotion. Yeah. It's going to be exciting. Look out for that.
Then we got the Bellator in May, man. In San Jose.
In May.
I'm really, really excited about that fight. I mean, that fight card overall. I mean, the fact that we can see, the great Fedor in person is pretty nuts.
Yeah. So stay tuned for Brian Ortega's interview right now. Here you go, the one and only Brian Ortega. All right, this is Josh and James here with the MMA Complex podcast, here with Brian Ortega, the Brian Ortega, man. How are you feeling today, man? What brings you here to Combate?
Just last minute, little invite, and through one of the guys who helps represent me, and I live in LA, so why not come check it out,
Yeah, it's pretty cool that Combate America kind of caters to the Hispanic community. How's that make you feel, man, knowing that, what's the Mexican fight is being promoted here in LA?
It feels great, especially because when you think of Latino fighters, you think of boxing. You don't really think MMA, you don't think cage fighting at all. And then to have something named Combate America, it's pretty tight because I'm first generation Mexicano. I'm born here in Los Angeles, so I like the name, like Combate America. It's pretty sick, And to see the evolution, to see people in the Latin community start to train, start to fight, and from what I saw, like these last couple of fights, they got some skill, At least when I used to watch the fights, people weren't that skillful. Yeah. So just the evolution MMA in general is amazing, and to see Latinos more involved with it is something always that hits home for me, and it's good to see, because I was once there.
Yeah. Now, all the antics of UFC 223 they're all behind us now. Looking back on that crazy week, you're somewhat involved in it in terms of being approached to maybe step in to replace Ferguson or Max Holloway. So looking back now, what do you make of that week, and how did you process it after?
New York was crazy. Yeah, Dana White called me up, talked about fighting Khabib. We said yes. But he did tell me that Max has first priority because he's the champ. And Max at that time hasn't gotten back to him. So we just waited, you know. And then he called me back later saying Max took the fight. I was a little bit bummed out. And then this whole situation with Conor happened, and then Max kind of being declared unfit to fight, and then us trying to step back, and then I quit again to fight. Crazy week, yeah, a lot of craziness going on, but I did get to go over there, and I did get to go and do some meet and greets, and I went to this place to go do like a charity work for them and just talk to people, you know, who are, you know, suffering financially and going through a hard time. So we donated some money to them, and then we just got to hang out to them and talk to them and inspire them. So as bad as a week as it was, through the antics of Conor and all that, it was a good week for us as well, though, you know?
Yeah, you know, what Conor did was a pretty black guy in the sport. Your thoughts on Conor McGregor and is that a fight that obviously you want to, you know, take in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that our team has talked about, and it's doable within time. We just have to pick our right career moves, you know. And then right now we got to worry about Max. We got to get through Max, get that 145 belt, and then we're not targeting Conor, but we're targeting Khabib. As in terms of if we're successful against Max, then we're going up a weight class and fighting Khabib for the belt.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Now, Max seemed like he was ready to go for the Khabib fight. We don't know how healthy he was. I don't know if you have any word on the timetable when you think he'll be 100% and ready to take you on.
No, we have the timetable, we have the date, we have the location, and I just cannot talk about it. About too much details, but it's already set in stone already. Contracts are being done. Yeah.
Max is next for you then.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know what? Like I've always said that if there's one person in the UFC that can beat Khabib, it's you, Brian Ortega. Like you're his Achilles heel, man. Like Khabib's known for his grappling, but your jiu-jitsu is top of the line. Like how do you see that fight taking place? I mean, ending in your eyes.
I mean, this is a matchup that I love. Forget the belt. Forget that. I wanted the Khabib fight just because it's a Khabib fight. Yeah. We're two undefeated guys. One wrestler, one jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And you saw the fight with Alquita. His striking's not the best.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, Yeah. It's like, can you hold me down? Or will I bust another Tavares fight?
Yeah.
So the fight like that intrigues me. And as a fighter, I want the challenge, and as a fan, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And then why not be involved in it? So, yeah, that fight gets me excited, and it makes me motivated just to beat Max, just so I can go up a weight class,
Yeah.
Because
goosebumps, man. I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah, it'd be a sick fight. I'm ready for it, and I long for it. Yeah.
Now staying in your weight class, you have Max Holloway, obviously a different type of fighter. What do you make of that fight, and how you will approach a fight with Max?
I always approach every fight the same. I go in there, I go to finish. I don't go to score points. Max is a volume puncher, and I just need to finish him. Yeah, it just doesn't matter if it's knockout or if it's submission. My objective is when I'm in there is to finish and don't leave anything unanswered for the judges. Yeah.
There's not too many Mexican-American role models, man, and you're one of them. Your heart is with gold, but when you get in the cage, like you're a beast. Talk about your foundation in the scholarship that you're doing right now.
So we're doing the foundations right now. We're helping people out everywhere, and I mean that's it, man. The main thing is we be the change that you want to see in the world. There's I've talked about it in other interviews that there's just too much negativity. We gotta change it up, I'm not telling the world to be a clean-cut person. I'm just telling the world just to help out when you can. A little hamburger here to a homeless, or just something, motivation. You'd be surprised the little things that can do to help, and they're like pennies, man. They all add up, and then eventually I feel like if everyone helps each other out, we'd be in less of of a kind of situation. And not only that, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I go, recently it was, when you help someone, it makes you happy. So there'd be less stress. You know, people, like, you'd be surprised. You're like, you don't want to give something, but when you give something, you truly give it from the heart, and you see someone appreciate it, it makes you feel good about it, and it makes you want to do more, you know? So it's almost like, it's infectious, you know?
Awesome, man.
On that note, man, we want to thank you for your time and joining us here at Combate, and wish you all the best of luck. And thank you for even sharing the news that your fight is pretty much set.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, and can I remind the fans where they can find you on social media and more about your info about your scholarship?
Yeah, you can just find me at Brian T. City on social media, BrianOrtegaFoundation.com for everything else, you know? Yeah.
Brian, thanks for being like a good role model for the Mexican people, man, or for the Hispanic people in general. And best of luck in your fight coming up with Max.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much.
And that was UFC's featherweight and #1 contender, Brian Ortega. Brian, it was such an honor, and it's such a cool guy to give us his time. It was pretty cool.
Definitely. So that's our show for tonight. Our post-fight wrap-up of Combate Americas, their first event under the Univision, banner. So thank you to all of them for allowing us to be here, and we look forward to the next show. You guys stay tuned for our next episode next week, and until then, enjoy the fights.
Yeah, and you can follow the show on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, MMA Complex James, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook, all under the MMA Complex. Great night of fights. We look forward to next weekend's fights, and so until then, enjoy the week and enjoy your fights.